Victoria Sass of Prospect Refuge Studio. We're based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we, together with MHM Living, created this room, a Midwest memory. It's all about the new nostalgia.
So Victoria, what were your goals when imagining and creating this space?
So it was really important that we merged the Midwest with Dallas. I think bringing a lot of our craftspeople into this space was really important. So making sure, I think we both aligned on that making sure that the quality was at such a level that the storytelling was really the focus of the space. So I was channeling my childhood in Minnesota. And this is an interpretation of my childhood home, kind of a teenage years scenario. And so I think, coming together and making sure all the parts and pieces work together flawlessly was really important.
So a teenage memory with a modern twist.
Yeah, it's like this is me processing my teenage years now as a much more mature woman. Taking a look back on some classic Midwestern design components that are maybe underrepresented or undervalued. And I think showing them in a really respectful and flawless way was important. And I think you guys did such a good job of that. Everything from golden oak to wall-to-wall carpeting to the tile countertop. I mean, really understanding that we want to take these sometimes easily dismissed materials and showcase the inherent beauty in them, and that nothing is a throwaway. Everything has value.
Well, yeah, thank you for recognizing that. Absolutely, there's a lot of cool elements when they are brought together properly. That's what makes it really special and unique.
So, what were your goals in working with us on this?
Well, my main goal was just to understand you, right? And I think I made this analogy oftentimes, like, if I can get in your head, this is a success. And I often tell this to my clients. And I remember that first phone call that we had was really we were just trying to figure out each other, like, okay, am I going to trust this person? Are we going to work together? Like, what is going to be the pain points? Things like that. So my primary goal was like, get a solid understanding of who you are, what you are after, then really make sure we understand the technical nature of things, because that's what it boils down to. You have the imagination of the amazing, the beautiful, right? And I need to figure out how to bring that all together. So my goals were really just to deliver on that vision that you had. So I know you shared that this is your childhood memories and some of yourself that you brought into this space, but is there a unique element? Is there something that may be extra special to you, or maybe it's your favorite in here?
I think my favorite parts, and this is true for most projects, the thing that I love the most is the thing that was like the biggest obstacle day one. And I think for us in this room, we didn't have any windows. We didn't have any natural daylight. Our room is 2 rooms deep inside the center of a very large home. And I think now being in the space, the warmth, the lighting, the glow, the lamp lighting, the lack of natural daylight in this room actually creates a very different environment than many of the other rooms in the house. And so I think it turned out beautifully from, this in-cabinet lighting really is making the room glow. We've got our ontologia light that we designed with a local cool, Minneapolis maker. We've got another Detroit artist, independent light. We've got a lot of different lighting moments, but no sunlight. And
well, I gotta make a confession.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Because when I first, saw the rendering and you kind of painted this picture, although I didn't see the colors, I didn't see the fabrics and any of that. And, you mentioned we're gonna wrap the cabinets with fabric or paper, or I don't remember the terminology was used. And I was like, my eyes were rolling. It's like, what is she gonna do? So honestly, I just couldn't see it. I'm wired very, my mind works very technically minded, very engineering minded, if you wish, right? I want to find solutions. How are we going to build it? How is it going to work, right? How is it going to function? So when Adam, shows up and he rolls out and starts installing this paper, or it's actually a fabric rather, and it was halfway done. I was still having my doubts about it. And when I came back, next day and it was completed, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Oh.
And I was kind of on the fence about it in the beginning, but I didn't see your vision, right? And so I'm surprised me that like, wow, this is really cool. It's really different, and it's classy, it's not over the top, it's calming, it's unique, it's different, I don't know, it's something unique about it.
I love that.
So surprised.
In this journey, we both needed to trust each other in different ways. Like you needed to trust that there was a design vision and that it was going to look great when you chose to partner with us and take on our room, and we, trusted you. And I think that that's really cool that we both came out the other side pleasantly surprised, right. Or not surprised, but we met each other's expectations.
Yeah. Well, I had no doubt it's going to be amazing. I just my imagination was telling me something else. Yeah. That's really all it is.
Well, I do think that that's a great point, though, because I never felt in this journey as a designer, and maybe if other designers are thinking of working with you on a project, there are contractors and partners that I've worked with that have strong opinions on what rooms should look like. And I never felt like I got that kind of judgment from you. It was just, let me find the best way to execute your vision. And this is about your vision and your storytelling. I'm going to support it and bring it forward and make it look its absolute finest. And so it was a really lovely marriage in that way, that I felt like even maybe one or two times when we did ask your design opinion on something because we weren't here, you were like, you just have to tell me what you want and I'll make it look amazing. Like this countertop, for example, we were waffling for a quick moment about whether to do stone or whether to do tile. And partly because we were thinking we wanted to make your life easier. We wanted to find and make Kips Bay more successful, but find something that was the best to install. And you said, tell me what you want and I will make it happen. And it was such a freeing moment. We're like, we want tile. And you're like, okay, we're going to figure it out. So that was beautiful. I really appreciated that.
Thank you.
So now I let you behind my scenes a little bit. What for you, were there any technical, I'm sure you didn't share every single hiccup and road bump with us. Were there any technical solutions that you came across that you were really proud of, or moments that you felt, working with your team was phenomenal. Everyone we met on your team was really solution oriented, but I'd love to hear what for you felt like a big triumph in terms of what you produced.
Very good question. The big triumph is obviously this moment, just standing here and really just being able to see the space from a different light. Because one thing that most people don't realize and don't understand, Victoria, is when you are in it, you tend to be focused on it instead of seeing the bigger picture, right? And our objective, obviously, my objective, working through this, to the process and challenges and solutions, was never lose sight of the goal. Right? So that's my philosophy, and I think our team also embraces this. That hey, we come up with something doesn't pan out as you intended, or pivot, be adjustable, be flexible enough, right? Without sacrificing, the design intent, and which is always the biggest challenge, right? Is a measurement is off, or the pole you're an electrical, it's in the wrong place, or didn't come, or the sequence of things. That was a big challenge on this project, is the sequencing, because now you see the pretty stuff, but a lot of people don't appreciate what are the layers and layers and layers and layers and steps you require to actually pull something like this together. And so that's a challenge on its own. But as far as technical details, there's a lot of technical details that, again, when it's done, the eye just kind of goes over it. It's just beautiful, it's calming, it's not questioning. And as you know, from the design perspective, when things are thought through and built well, then you don't question it. You're just oh, it's nice.
Yeah, you're able to take it in as a whole environment and not ingredients on a plate. It's a whole dish. It's a whole meal together.
Right. So you got to experience it for what it is.
How did this project compare to a more traditional project that you run?
Very good question, Victoria. As you know, the timelines of these shows are just extremely, unrealistic, for a better lack of words, and requires such a discipline and such an organization, as you know, and like daily or by the hour communication channels with your project manager and with your team as well, right? And really, in a normal setting, you have time to think everything through. You have the pre-construction phase, you have obviously the design phase, everything is thought through and developed. In other words, you have time to sleep on it, right? Here, we didn't have time to sleep on it. We had to make real-time decisions. And really the biggest thing is I was here almost every day just to make sure things are snapping in place as it needed to be. And as you know, that with the communication, sometimes you have to come up with new solutions that, alter the plan so slightly. But you have to do it real time, and some normal, or I guess more usual projects, you still have to problem solve, but you have a little bit more grace time to flush things out, make sure you have everybody's buy-in, everybody understand what's happening. Here, we don't have such a luxury.
Yeah. We felt really comforted. I thought despite our extremely protracted time frame that we had to work with, you really came to the table with your more traditional programs. Like we worked with Builder Trend, like you set up a schedule day one, a very aggressive schedule, which I appreciated. I think we really appreciated that in talking with you early on. We had sort of what we felt was an aggressive expectation. And then you upped the ante, which I was like, okay, great. This person is really prepared for the unexpected that we're gonna encounter. And so, there was a lot of trust on our part. We had never worked together, and this is a new market for us, a new city. We did talk to several other contractors, and I think coming away from our conversations feeling your energy and your passion and your commitment really meant a lot to us, because we knew that you were going to be our eyes on the ground, and that we had to sort of have faith in you that you would bring any issues or concerns to us immediately, and that we could work with you on them, like you said, in real time to find very fast solutions. And all the way through the project, I felt like that you were consistent with that from start till right now, when we all look so presentable.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Just like a week ago, this was still dust and construction noise and everything, right? But Victoria, to your point, you touched on it, because trust is the key here, right? You would not want to have a relationship with anyone you cannot trust, and I understand it's a big ask and a big commitment even for you guys. Like in a completely new territory, like a complete stranger, and oh my gosh, I hope he's gonna deliver on it. So I totally appreciate that you're recognizing the trust out of it.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.